Hello? Yeah,
Yes, doctor.
yes, sir. So, yeah. That's what I wanted to ask you one thing that as we just right now saw about aquacentric and how aquatic therapy has a boon in early rehabilitation. So, just
Hmm.
wanted your insight about how much awareness is there amongst the young athletes today. Aqua is a boon now, and how many of them are actually keen towards doing that? Because it's just not about entering the pool, it's about a therapeutic atmosphere there, about the right temperature and right instruments. So how aware are athletes these days about it?
From what I know, doctor, I definitely think it's gained a lot of traction. So using these aqua therapies that you talked about for rest, recovery, rehabilitation. But doctor, I'll actually flip the question back to you. Tell
Yeah.
me something, because I do know the players who play in the big leagues, footballers, cricketers,
Yeah.
American footballers, soccer players, everyone. Those players definitely have access to such facilities. Where, say, for instance, Cristiano Ronaldo. We were speaking of air.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo
Yes.
in his house has this swimming pool, which also has like a treadmill embedded
Right.
within it, right? So he can
Right.
access all of this. Um, but say, let's talk about athletes in India, right? Do
Yes.
they have access to such facilities? And if so, where can they find such facilities that they can actually use to their advantage when it comes to rehabilitation and recovery?
Yes. Good question. So, the thing is, pools are there everywhere. But when I say about the right instruments and right supervision out there, it's a little difficult, and there's not much availability out there. Even though clubs have pool, we need these instruments for rehabilitation. So, uh, as of what I know, in Mumbai, we have AquaCentric here that has all three facilities embedded. So we are India's first of its kind when it comes to hygiene and the kind of setup we have. So that's a therapeutic setup. So I would say less are there out there in India currently. So AquaCentric provides that kind of facility here in Mumbai. And about the clubs that are attached, not much.
Understood.
We
Understood.
need a team of doctors to be present over there, a team of rehabilitation specialists to be present over there, because the program that has to be designed is according to the medical knowledge that comes with it.
Absolutely. And kudos to you, kudos to your team, kudos to AquaCentric for all the work that you're doing in actually spreading awareness about this magical sort of therapy that athletes have at their disposal. We were also having a very fascinating discussion about Pat Cummins off air.
Yes.
I wish that was actually recorded, but hopefully, second time we can
Yeah,
actually still do
we
justice to
can
that
still do that.
conversation.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Okay.
you don't necessarily have to repeat everything that you said, but would love for you to
Sure.
actually sum up your thoughts. So we were speaking about bone density, we were speaking about loading as well. That's a term
Correct.
that you had used. And
Correct.
I'll just give viewers who are watching a little bit of insight as to what we were talking about. So Pat Cummins made his debut for Australia at the age of 18. This was against South
Okay.
Africa in Johannesburg. He was touted by many legends of the game, Glenn McGrath, Brett Lee, as being like the
Yeah.
next spearhead of the Australian bowling attack, which he has become now. But
Yeah.
this is what was expected of him when he was first bursting on the scene at the age of 18, 19, 20. But
Yeah.
then he had quite a few of these injury setbacks and didn't quite play his second test until the age of 24. So there was really a 6 year gap between his debut and his second test, and that was because of injury setbacks, as I
Yeah.
mentioned, right? Then
Hmm.
what started happening was once he crossed 20 and once he was closer to 24, his bone maturity, his bone density started increasing, as a result of which he was less prone to injuries. And in fact, I have this excerpt as well. I found this article that I would love to read out that actually sums up what I just talked about. And then I would love to get your thoughts as well, Doctor. So it goes, there is a joke within the Australian men's cricket circle about the magical act of turning 24. On Josh Hazelwood's 24th birthday, Cummins recalls Alex Kuntouris, then the team physio, wishing Hazelwood a happy bone healing day. The 24th year often seems to mark the end of the most dangerous stage of growth spurts and vulnerability to stress injuries, although the injuries can and still do occur at any age. But it yet remains an important milestone on the way to a more robust phase. Doctor, would love to get your thoughts on this.
Correct. Very well said. Thank you, Anubhav, for raising this. So, as I said, till 30, we have time in our hand to kind of push ourselves, to kind of push our bone, because till 30, we are at a peak where our body can hasten the process of something called as remodeling. Bone modeling, that is bone formation, is a lifelong process. But after 30, the speed of bone degradation as compared to bone formation is hampered. So your bone degradation comes a little faster, bone formation goes a little slower. But till 30 is the age where we can work on the bone very well, right? So now, how do bones actually model themselves? How, may I say in layman term, can new bone form? Is when you impact them, when you load them, right? So this is my femur, this is my hip, I'm loading it. That is where the new bone will start forming. Your puberty is the age where you're at the peak of your hormonal level. Your hormones play a good role in this process. So from your puberty till your 30 is the right age where you can add up those loading forces and build up your bone density, right? In puberty, even American Association of Medicine says that a good amount of aerobic and loading exercises should be done in adolescents and children to spur their growth, to increase the bone density. When you talk about traumatic injuries, yes, the bones are soft. These children might be bone susceptible to it. However, maintained under right precautions and right supervision, till 30, you can get a good amount of bone loading and you can increase your density there. Studies have proven that till 30, with right supplements, right nutrition, and loading exercise, you can increase your density. After that, you kind of need to maintain what you have.
Makes sense. And is that, brilliant point, doctor? Is that one of the reasons? This might explain why, but there could be some other explanation as well. I might be getting this wrong. But is that one of the reasons why, as you mentioned, after 30, right, your bone degradation increases and your loading sort of decreases, right? At least the proportion changes.
Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons why after 30, a lot of athletes focus more on balance maintenance exercises as opposed to before 30, where most of the movements all power movements, heavy lifting, power lifting, and after 30, it's slightly different?
One more, that is one of the many reasons, but major reason comes here that studies have proven that after 30, no, there is slight reduction in your reflexes. So what I mean by reflex is a reaction time to it. I'm touching a hot vessel, oh, I immediately withdraw my hand. That's a quick reflex. And these are the reflexes, that reaction time is what is needed in your game. So after 30, this quick reactions are set to reduce. So that is where you have imbalances, you have more history of falls. So that is why your strategies are towards maintenance of dynamic balance in 30 plus athletes, apart from various reasons like maintaining the bone density and maintaining the endurance. What I mean by endurance of muscles is ability of the muscles to sustain the contraction for a longer period of time. So those are the three major aspects why the strategies are targeted towards improving the dynamic balance per se.
Understood. And you spoke about how after 30, your reaction actually becomes slightly worse. My reaction became worse when I was 20. That's one of the reasons why my career as an athlete ended even before it began. Anyway, next on my list, Jasprit Bumrah. Are you aware of Jasprit Bumrah? Do you are, right? Lovely, absolutely lovely. So tell me something. Everyone knows he has a very unconventional action, right? I still don't know how, with such a short run up, he's able to generate so much speed. He's bowling at 140 kilometers per hour plus consistently with such a short run up. At the same, given the way he releases the ball, he's releasing it from way behind his shoulder as opposed to releasing it from above your shoulder or in front of it. A lot of people actually think that it's miraculous that he's not actually experiencing more injuries. I know recently he was out injured for a little bit of time, so hopefully that's not a bad sign of things to come going forward. But how can someone like a Jasprit Bumrah, given his very unconventional action, given the impact that is experienced when he's actually about to deliver that ball, how can he actually stay fit and not prevent injuries from occurring without necessarily having to remodel his action?
Yeah. So basically, this comes, as I said, about the right biomechanics and the right technique. So when you talk about bowling biomechanics, especially your pre-delivery stride, that is before your delivery, there's a good amount of momentum that he generates. This is also seen in Brett Lee. If you can see, there's a good amount of pre-delivery. The phase of pre-delivery that he does is excellent because that is where he will gain his velocity. And see, it doesn't matter whether I'm bending too much or stuff like that. It's just about the correct action and a strong core. So a strong core, a stable scapula will prevent me from any overhead injury that has been taken place. So in case of these fast bowlers like Bumrah or Brett Lee, their velocity comes from the pre-delivery stride and the ball release phase of your bowling mechanics. So as I said, correct biomechanics and correct stance gained by these two make them less susceptible to injuries. However, I will not say not completely protected, less susceptible to it. So it's the right mechanics and right technique. That's it. Not much into it. Doesn't matter even if I'm bending too much. It's just that if I have a good core, my core is good enough to sustain all the impending forces that are coming on my spine.
Then, doctor, why don't, I guess, all the bowlers in the world do something similar? So when I say something similar, I mean, number one, work on your core, right? Make your core as strong as possible, right? So that's necessary. And the second thing is, as you mentioned, like in the case of, say, Brett Lee and Jasprit Bumrah, right? Even though they might not have the longest run up leading up to the crease, they still generate a lot of momentum in the few yards before they're releasing the delivery, right? That's what you mentioned, and the momentum that they generate is enough to actually is enough for them to be able to bowl at 140 kilometers, 150 kilometers per hour. Right?
So pre-delivery stride also means the run-up that comes with it. So they have a good run-up. Not like they have less as compared to others. They do have a good run-up, just that they have a good biomechanics out there.
Okay, got it. I know Bumrah has a very, very short run-up, but maybe he's an anomaly. Maybe it's the way he releases the ball that's able to generate that much pace, despite the fact that he has a short run-up, but it's not his short run-up that's resulting in the pace.
Yes. So, and it also a lot depends, as I said, on something called as scapular muscles. Those are very small muscles just present in between your spine and shoulder blades. So those muscles kind of provide a check-in to your shoulder going overboard. So if I don't have a good scapular control, my scapula is going to go overboard, so is going to be my hand. And that leads to a lot of impacting forces. So they have a good scapular control, scapular endured muscles, and your good core apart from lower limb energy generation. So scapula and core, most important to target.
Makes sense. And let's talk about Virat Kohli as well. When we think about fitness in cricket, I don't think we can avoid Virat Kohli. I know on social media, following Virat Kohli on social media, I know ever since he's actually undergone this massive transformation when it comes to his fitness, right? He talks about his policy of taking no days off. That's what he says. He's like, you know what, no cheat days and no rest days also, no days off.
Yes.
But of course, it's important, as you rightly pointed out on numerous occasions during the chat, to take enough rest to make sure you're recovering, to make sure you're rehabilitating, right? So how do you still strike a balance when he says no days off? Does he mean that, okay, on his rest days he'll just do a little bit of light exercise, maybe a little bit of brisk walking, jogging, without quite doing anything too intense?
Yes, there you said it. That is what it means by, so there is something called as active rest period also. So there's active recovery, it's a new term. So there's something called as complete, so where you just rest down and don't do anything. There's something called as active recovery, where in your recovery period, you do extremely light exercise, as you said, a brisk walk or something, just to maintain the blood circulation. And say I have worked out previous day, there's a lot of lactic acid that has been formed in my muscles. So, you know, in childhood, we used to play and come home after next day, we used to get a lot of aches and pains. So there are muscle soreness. So lactic acid is responsible for that muscle soreness. And in active recovery, when I'm actually doing something which is extremely light, I'm in no way hampering the muscles that have been worked out previously. At the same time, I'm also maintaining my metabolism enough to provide a good supply to the muscles so that the lactic acid is washed out. So that is what he means by that recovery. Very light work, so that's active recovery.
Fascinating, fascinating. And I have another question about Virat Kohli and comparing Virat Kohli to another cricketer. But before getting to that, I want to actually get your views on these ice baths. It has something to do with water, so I'm pretty sure you'll be able to give us lots of insights here.
Yeah.
Right after games, especially football players, from what I've heard, they get into an ice bath for rest and recovery. Apparently, it really, really catalyzes the rest and recovery. So could you talk to us a bit about the concept of ice baths? When
Of
should we
course.
be taking these ice baths? How often should we take
Yes,
them?
of course. So there's something called as ice bath and there's something called as cryotherapy. It's one and the same. It's basically cold immersion. What cold does to your body per se is it will help reduce your swelling and pain. Okay, that's the primary requirement of ice. Usually when you see after injuries there's a lot of swelling, you go for application of ice. When I talk about ice bath, it is usually done after your play, and after the sport is done they come and do an ice immersion. The players come and do a ice bath because results have proven that, again as I said, there's something called as delayed onset of muscle soreness, that is DOMS, and ice is said to reduce the lactic acid formation and reduce the trouble that comes with DOMS. So ice is proven to reduce the trouble that comes with DOMS, and soreness will give you a lot of pain, trust me. And if you have a match immediately again, that's going to be bad. The pain is going to hamper you. So that is where after matches, they usually go for ice immersions. So cold bath immersions, basically to get rid of the soreness or maybe to reduce the impending wound.
Makes sense, makes sense. So, of course, this is not a perfect substitute, but do you think, say, a layman, right? If I'm, say, working out every day from home, right? Maybe I don't have access to a cryotherapy room, maybe I don't have access to an ice bath. Does is a cold shower more preferable compared to, say, a hot or warm shower, or it doesn't really, give you it can't really replicate the benefits of what cryotherapy or what ice baths can do for you?
Yes, so the temperature physiologically that is required to gain these things in the body, that is your vasoconstriction and removal of your soreness, the temperature required is not what we attain in that cold shower. It has to be really cold, 0, minus and stuff like that. So that's not exactly that you can mimic in cold shower. So when at recreational level we are working out, we have something called as a cool down process. So if you're working out, you should make sure that you have a warm up, you have your period of work, and you have your cool down. So after workout, cool down, specifically your sustained stretches that help you to reduce your soreness, and then you can have a hot shower. That's not a problem at all. But if you're working from home or you have a recreational activity like a gym goer or something like that, cool down exercises and followed by your recovery day, your rest period. So workout also has to be planned to avoid the soreness. I can't go all days for weight training. It has to be in alteration with your cardiovascular training. So that is the way at these settings we can prevent the pain and stuff like that from impending us to do something.
Understood, understood. Very useful for all our viewers. And coming back to the Virat Kohli question, the second Virat Kohli question, I find this extremely fascinating. I look at someone like a Hardik Pandya and I look at someone like a Virat Kohli, right?
Yeah.
Both have very different body types. Hardik Pandya seems like the lean person. He has a lot of lean muscle mass, whereas Virat Kohli is still a bit of bulk, has a bit of bulk. You could probably fit him into the lean bulk category. And I remember watching a few interviews of Virat Kohli, and he talks about, मैंने 4 साल मेहनत कर ली है जिम में, but मैं 4 दिन में वो मेहनत एकदम डुबा सकता हूँ by eating cheat meals. So he's like his body doesn't quite react well to say the unhealthy type of foods. Whereas Hardik Pandya on the other hand has gone on record saying that I can eat as much as I want to eat, लेकिन यार मेरा weight बढ़ता ही नहीं है. Like these people find it hard to actually increase their weight despite how much they eat. Whereas like Virat Kohli, they have to really control themselves and teach themselves to be mentally tougher. What is the difference between the two body types? Someone like a Hardik Pandya and someone like a Virat Kohli.
So more than the body type, Anubhav, it's more about the basal metabolic rate. So there is something called as BMR. Basic terms में समझा जाए तो if I'm eating something, how fast is my body able to quickly assimilate it, quickly digest it, quickly distribute carbs and fats, and then eliminate it. So the rate, that's the rate. So it is called as basal metabolic rate. BMR जिसको बोलते हैं. So in few people this problem is faced even in young age girls. They say, oh, I eat something, I eat this little bit and I gain weight. Whereas few say, oh, I eat so much, I keep on eating, I don't gain any weight. So it's because they have an elevated basal metabolic rate. So it's already elevated. So whatever they eat, it's quickly assimilated and gone. Whereas in few, if you have a lower basal metabolic rate, it kind of sustains there. There's accumulation of fat quickly. So it's basically to do with the basal metabolic rate more than the body type. It's physiological and it's normal. So it's completely fine. It depends on different types of individual, unless you have certain conditions like diabetes and thyroid where it is altered pathologically. And there when medicine comes, otherwise it's not a problem at all. It's just physiological. There is a difference in all body types, not just in athletes, in every body type.
Understood. So how much of this BMR is actually determined for you at birth? So how much of it is genetic versus this being something you can actually modify through exercise, through other means?
Yes. So basically, there have been researches that have see, BMR is something which is physiological and which is very genetic. Okay, it's inborn. So going at the DNA level and changing it, I think we are a little far from it. Talking about workout with exercises, you can definitely modify. There are a few researches that have proven that a good amount of muscle work and a good amount of aerobic work together in female athletes have proven to reduce the BMR. However, the studies need to be a little more in compilation for it to be generated as a good evidence out there. So I would not really comment on it right now about the studies. So till now it's genetic, but you can definitely alter it with exercises. A good amount of exercise. Now see, few people do only cardio. Once you do only cardio and you have a period of no exercise for say 1 or 2 months, you're quickly gonna gain weight. But if you do a good amount of muscle work out there, you have a tendency to gain weight much later. So basically, in order to not quickly gain weight, target your muscle strength, muscle endurance along with your cardiovascular endurance. So that is helpful for your BMR as well.
Makes sense, Lavi. And doctor, of course, we all know the importance of this, but yet maybe athletes, not so much athletes, but others don't quite give as much importance. How important is sleep in your rest, in recovery, in making sure that you're actually performing at your elite level day in and day out? And this doesn't necessarily have to be on the field. This could be in your day-to-day work as well. How important is sleep?
Perfect. So sleep, I would say, is very, very, very important, because when you are in your sleep, there are stages of sleep. So when you are in that peak stage of your sleep, all your cells in the body, including brain, they have reduced their metabolic rate, and that is the rest period for something called as your nervous system also, because your brain is constantly working, and that is the only time where it's going to rest. Not going to be dead, but it's going to rest. Your metabolism is going to come down. So good amount of sleep, especially before your matches. So all your physios also emphasize that. Those who are on field, your athletes, make sure that you get a good amount of sleep prior. What I mean by that is your quality of sleep. For example, for you, it's proven, many people say that a good amount of 6 to 7 to 8 hours of sleep is extremely essential for your performance enhancement next day. However, quality of sleep is something that matters more. Say, for example, you sleep 6 hours, I sleep 7 hours, but I sleep at a disturbed pace. That's not going to work. You have a good sound sleep of 6 hours, that's enough. So sleep plays a very important role in all your pre-matches, especially.
And how can people enhance the quality of the sleep?
So enhancement of quality of sleep basically depends. If you have a good workout that day, I'm sure you're going to sleep, you're going to doze off very well. Otherwise, there is something called as a passive relaxation techniques. So I showed you Watsu also in my presentation. So good amount of passive relaxations. There are multiple relaxation techniques. What they do in elite games, or if you have elite elite leagues out there, they have once they check into the hotel, they also have something called as warm baths there. They have a masseuse or also who accompanies them. So these are the strategies that they usually adapt to have a sound sleep, and basically relaxation. No anxiety at all.
Brilliant,
Meditation
brilliant.
and relaxation is proven to be effective for a good sleep induction
Brilliant,
and
brilliant.
staying
Dr.
away
Vaidya,
from cell phones.
absolutely, especially right before you go up to sleep, right? Because the light that's
Yeah.
emitted from the cell phone screen.
Radiations are not good. Not good. Perfect. At least 1 hour before the sleep, try to get off it. It's not possible in working schedule, but try.
Yeah, try telling that to millennials today.
Yeah. We are part of it.
I know. Definitely. I wish I was practicing what I preach.
Same.
So yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, this was fascinating, Dr. Vaidya. Loved
Thank you.
everything
Thank you,
that
sir.
you had to share with us. Loved everything that AquaCentric has been doing as well.
Thank you,
Can
sir.
you tell the viewers where people can find AquaCentric and perhaps give a high-level description of all the facilities and resources that you guys provide?
Yes, of course. I will definitely do that. So after this, I'll also be sharing my screen. So whatever videos I showed you right now, those were majorly from our AquaCentric setup. So AquaCentric is a holistic rehabilitation center in Mumbai, equipped with aquatic therapy, equipped with medical therapeutic gym with TRX and all the advanced instruments. We also have a lot of we have harness system out there because we also deal with a lot of neurological neuropediatric cases also. So the person is not able to walk, we have a harness system. With the harness we take the person on treadmill and he's supposed to walk there. Along with that, we also have an outdoor training facility, as I showed in my presentation also, where you have different types of surfaces there. We challenge you to walk on those surfaces. Of course, it depends, the dosage depends on the condition, but you walk on those multiple surfaces and challenge your proprioception. So we make sure that your rehabilitation is translated into outdoor training. At AquaCentric, we have, so AquaCentric is healthcare venture of Mr. Harsh Mariwala, and Dr. Amit Kohli is the co-founder of AquaCentric. So we deal with orthopedics. We have four verticals. We have orthopedics, we have neurology, we have pediatrics, and we have women's healthcare also. In orthopedics, we deal a lot of your musculoskeletal problems, your sports specific rehabilitation. In neuro, you have multiple cases like spinal cord injury, Parkinson's, stroke patients. In pediatrics, we have young CPs, we have autism, we deal with autism, Down syndrome. In women's health, we have all your gynecological and obstetric cases. We have diabetes, we treat diabetes, hypertension through rehabilitation. So this is a holistic perspective of AquaCentric towards making you not just rehabilitated, but fit to go to your function. So we emphasize a lot on what the person needs from us. So that is AquaCentric. I'll just quickly share the slide so that everyone understands where it's located. And we have started with free consultations also. We have started with tele-rehabilitation. So these are the numbers. It's located at Andheri and Worli currently. And right now we are operating from home till we resume after the conditions are settled. And we have free consultations going on. We have tele-rehabilitation that we are doing these days. And we have a good response from our clients from tele-rehabilitation also. So this is where you can locate AquaCentric, and this is what AquaCentric looks like. So this is our aquatic zone, this is our therapeutic gymnasium, and this is our ability garden. These are the sensory parts. This is your sports specific drills that we do here. Yeah, so that was
Fantastic.
AquaCentric for you, sir.
Fantastic. Definitely. I mean, from the pictures that I saw and from everything that you mentioned, I can clearly tell these are state-of-the-art facilities.
Yes,
So
yes.
once I'm back in Bombay and hopefully the lockdown eases soon, I would
Sure,
love to pay a visit to you guys.
sure, definitely, sir. Because we have all indoor therapeutic hygienic pools, and hygiene is something that is required these days. Also, we have glass bead filtration system, maintaining it at the optimum. So we are looking forward, sir. And e-consultations are on, therapy sessions are on. So we are looking forward to you, sir.
Lovely, lovely. And this upcoming Wednesday, we have a session with Dr. Devashri,
Yes.
right? You mentioned.
Yes.
This upcoming Wednesday. So our viewers should definitely tune in for that session with Dr. Devashri. This is of course a part of a collaboration between we here at One Play Sports and AquaCentric, a collaboration that's been very successful so far. We've had lots of sessions. So in case this is the first time you're tuning in, make sure you actually go to the archives, go to a One Play Sports page and check out all the other live sessions that we've done in the recent past. And don't forget to tune in for the live session that's coming up this Wednesday with Dr. Devashri. And hopefully, Dr. Vaidya, this is not the only partnership that we have between One Play Sports and AquaCentric. Hopefully in the future we have many more strong and solid partnerships.
Hoping to do that, sir.
Brilliant, brilliant. Great. So that was everything that I had. In case you have any closing thoughts and comments, let us know. But everything from my end has been taken care of. And again, thanks so much to you and your team for pulling this presentation together for us and for all the insights and knowledge and wisdom that you guys have had to share with everyone who's been watching. I'm pretty sure they've taken a lot away from this conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anubhav Jain, for first of all paying so keen interest and asking such interesting questions, and it gave me a chance to address on these points as well. And thank you, AquaCentric and One Play Sports, for this wonderful opportunity. And please make sure, guys, that even if you're at your place, please make sure you're strengthening your core, you're strengthening yourself well before you're out there in the field. So avail whatever services you have and just go for it. Strengthen your core, and that's about it.
Great. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Yes,